Good afternoon and welcome to this emergency meeting of the Creswell City Council, January 18, 2024. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Well, I want to thank you for all of you for coming today. And there's a long list of people I can say thank you to, including 76 and ARCO for keeping open and providing really life-saving fuel for not only Creswellians but people all around. Mart has been working hard to keep open on generator power. Farmlands is open today, and I'm sure there's other businesses who are doing their best. Plus, just a big thank you to neighbors. In this time period, I've seen so many people out going door to door and helping neighbors, and that's what it means to be a community, isn't it? So, better and more sufficient list of thank yous will follow at a later time, but that will have to do for now. I want to introduce, if you're not aware, our city manager, Michelle Amber. Michelle's going to give us a status report from the city. Michelle will then also introduce our local New Hope Baptist pastor that's providing services working with the city, and also our Red Cross representatives who's here, and we'll get some information about their services as well. So, Manager Amber.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, my report is that there's no power anywhere in Creswell. There's no internet, and Verizon is spotty. We're having a lot of difficulties with the internet and phone coverage. But I mean, a bright spot in all of this has been the partnerships that we've developed with the county, with Red Cross, and New Hope is stepping up in a really big way. If you need to use I'll let them talk about what they're doing. But the state has sent us everything for a warming center. And for electricity, heat. We're working on a hookup for a satellite trailer, which will provide internet access, and they have a charging center there. We are putting together a debris deposit site at 395 Meadow Lane. There are signs, so you can follow the signs in. It's where our sewer treatment plant is. Just prior to the sewer treatment plant, there's a grassy area where you can put your debris. The 76 gas station is open, Mart is open, Farmlands is open, Roundup is open, and the schools will be closed tomorrow. And that's what I have as of now. So I'd like to introduce to you Casey from New Hope.
Can I ask a quick question? I had been really disconnected until yesterday. I don't have news or anything. You're talking a lot about what we have available, but how long is this supposed to last? Do we have any information?
Yeah, the latest information I have is Monday.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
No, that's fine. So yeah, and that's for the city. For the surrounding areas, it could be as long as January 26th. And
that's the rumor that I heard.
Yeah. So with that, I'll introduce Casey, and he can tell you more about what's going on at New Hope.
Hi, so I'm Casey. We are just setting up down the road. We've got a warming center. We're serving meals. Tonight, starting at 3 o'clock, we'll have, from 3 to 6, we'll have a hot meal served out of there. Feel free to take it to go, and we also can sit inside where it's warm. We have just arrived as a shower unit from the state. It should be operational here shortly. Internet trailer was getting up and running as well. They were trying to relocate it and make sure it got a good connection to the satellite, so that should be available by this evening. And Red Cross has been awesome. And yeah, so any specifics? Any questions?
Bless you.
Yes.
So the meal is from 3 to 6. Are you hoping to continue that each night? For
As long as we need it, yes.
Okay,
So,
and what about folks who need a place to stay overnight?
yes, so we've got that open as of last night. The Red Cross was instrumental in getting that operational. We had one person stay last night. We're available for more, so we have room and a warm place. It stays nice and warm in there. So
Last
want
question,
coffee?
do you need any volunteers?
I was just gonna ask that.
at this point we're having Red Cross I don't know, they may be able to speak better to that. As far as cooking and stuff, we are good. The one concern we're having is fuel. Getting fuel for all the generators it's a little difficult. So we're trying to figure that out still, but it's a constant feed of fuel. So yes.
Can I just add that the Creswell Food Pantry actually lost their refrigeration. So they took all of their things they needed refrigeration
Yes.
to New Hope Baptist, and they will use it in feeding.
Yes, yeah.
So, think about them when the power comes back on, because they'll need to replenish all that,
Yeah.
but also their generosity to the community.
So, yes.
The satellite tower, how will that work, and will people be able to connect to it, or?
So, from my understanding, they're still setting it up, but they'll check in with the Red Cross inside at the warming center, and they'll have a password that you can get in order to connect. And I know right now, Verizon's having a really difficult time, so that'll be really key as far as making contact outside.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'd like to also introduce Carissa Heddick from the Southern Oregon Red Cross.
Yeah, so good afternoon. My name is Carissa Heddick, and so last night we were working with the county and with the city, the efforts to be able to locate there with New Hope. So one of the roles of the Red Cross is to provide sheltering and feeding during events like this. So one, we needed to have a place that was heated for shelter, so thank you for being able to provide that and getting the generator there. So, at this point, we've got, it's a 24-hour shelter, so we have a daytime shift of volunteers and then an overnight shift. So if you just want to come and have a warmer place to stay, you're welcome to spend the night there. Everything is free of charge. Meals are free, snacks are free. We have comfort kits, so toothbrushes, washcloths, that type of bit. We have that to provide, blankets there as well. I would probably bring maybe warmer, we have Red Cross blankets, but if you want to have more, you're welcome to do that. But yeah, we're just gonna be playing it by ear until until the need is served. And then, just kind of providing that communal place where people get that, that access to information. So if you've got your friends network, your neighbors, just let them know. I know internet can be down, so talking to your neighbors, knowing that the Red Cross has that, shelter open is what we're working with. And again, we can't do it ourselves. So the church, the city, the state, everyone has their part in this. So, yeah.
Thank you. I can talk a little bit about what's going on with the electrical, if people want to hear that.
Oh, yes.
Lane Electric is in the worst shape. They completely lost a substation. So that's why it's gonna take till January 26th to bring everybody back on who's a Lane customer, because they actually have to rebuild the substation. It had 3 different lines coming into it from 3 different directions. All 3 are demolished. EPUD is working very hard to get everybody up and running. They have added extra crews, and yeah, they're just plugging away. With Pacific Power, they had actually reestablished electricity in Creswell, and then it was broken again, and they worked on it, and it got broken again. So they have been just repairing things. Everyone is concentrating on low-hanging fruit right now, and trying to get the system, get the debris off the system. Devices froze, and I don't know what that means, but they were very sad about the fact that these devices that are part of the electrical system froze. And so they were gonna have to wait until they thawed to assess them and see if they needed replacement. So not only are they, redoing the poles, they had all of them had a tremendous number of poles come down. Not only are they replacing the poles and the wires, they're actually having to, do some additional, more technical stuff to the system. So, I don't know if that's useful information or not, but they are working, they're working late into the night. And I think they've reestablished the hospital in Cottage Grove now is on electrical power. They were running on generator. So that was one of their primary concerns, was to get the hospital up and running, and it is.
Okay, so I wanna open up to members of the public that might have questions that hopefully we can answer. Any questions?
I just
Yeah.
have another thing, the hospitals are, having a hard time as well. They have a lot of people who fell and broke things that required surgery, and they were turning them away because they could not do surgeries. I don't know if they're doing surgeries yet. One of the problems is that the Springfield water got contaminated, and so it has a boil water notice on them. And I know that, Mackenzie canceled all of its, surgeries, and, Riverbend is trying to find places for people who have had surgery to go so that they could take, more people through the doors, cause they just have, their emergency room received twice its normal capacity on the first day, so they're working through that.
City council members, and Nicholas, do you have questions for Andrew Amberg, or for Casey, or for Carissa? Clark?
I just wanna say thank you right now so far. I've written my notes down to kind of spread the word, but thank you for everybody for all what they've done so far. So, no other questions, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nicholas. Clark?
Yes, just thinking ahead for the future, I know it's tremendously expensive to put power lines underground, but I was wondering, if it might be time to look at that again.
I think they're wondering that as well. I think there's some that do merit going underground. The main transmission line, I think that went across I-5, was an eye-opener for them. So maybe we'll see some of that. We're, actually working with EPUD at the airport, and with Douglas Fastnet to underground some lines under the freeway, so that may help as well.
If they're gonna keep pushing us away from gas, I think they better really take that seriously.
That's actually my comment, that we are blessed to have a professional gas range. And it has been a lifesaver at our house, because we have not had a generator, we have not had heat. My 86-year-old mother, finally, they got power in Springfield, and I took her up to my sister's house yesterday. But our gas range has been our only lifesaver, because everything else is efficient, and we have one of those tankless water heaters. So we've had nothing but gas, and you'll never convince me not to advocate for gas.
After this, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They've created some warriors.
Right here.
I don't know if we're there yet, but since we've declared a state of emergency, are there going to be federal or state funds coming to help families who have, are low income, have lost their food, or have lost their shelter during this time, or need help with rent because they've lost work hours? Do we know that yet?
Andrew Amberg?
The county declared, in order to get those kind of fundings, there's several steps you have to go through. We can't declare an emergency and receive them. That doesn't mean anything to FEMA. The county can declare an emergency, and then they'll be eligible for some assistance. But it's the state that has to declare the emergency, and the governor did.
Okay.
So we will be working within that framework to get as much assistance as we can get. FEMA is notoriously difficult and takes a long time. And I really do feel for all of the businesses in town who have had to be down now for, a week. I wish there was some way I could help them all, have generators, but, yeah, it won't be fast.
Okay.
But we'll do our best.
So a couple questions. Oh, Norma?
Well, my question, and it may be answered later, is we're doing this to get funds released so that we can do that. What will those funds that are releasing from the budget used for to help the city of Creswell?
Oh, we haven't, part of the declaration is to create a fund of money. The way Creswell right now is expending money is we have overtime, we have a tremendous fuel bill. We're operating both plants manually. That means every 2 hours someone has to go out there and run through the whole plant. Cliff is climbing on top of the reservoirs nightly to make sure, because our telemetry's down, to make sure that we have enough water for the night, for the community. Yeah, so we're going to have to take down trees, there'll be debris cleanup, there'll be the costs of some of this, things that the state has sent down. I think the, showers are going to be something that's on a contract, so we might have to pay for that. Yeah, so those are the kinds of things we'll be paying for. But fuel right now is the big deal because, we are looking for fuel to keep our generators going at the sewer plant and the water plant, because those are our two big objectives right now, is to keep those going. Those are top level. That and trying to make sure that there's no, blockages in the street. Those were our priorities, so that's what we'll be looking at. And then any other, things we can do, to assist our community, we'll ask for funding for that.
So a couple of things, Manager Amber, do we have any concerns at this point about water and sewer in Creswell?
No. Only fuel to keep them running and, yeah.
Okay. What about law enforcement concerns?
Mhm.
If people have concerns, should they just go through the process of calling 911? Is that the best route?
Yeah, 911 is still working.
Okay.
And you can call them, or you can call the non-emergency number if it's not an emergency. Unfortunately, we have had some crime because without electricity, alarm systems don't work. So we have had a couple burglaries.
Okay.
So gross.
So with that, I would like to move forward to, oh,
I'm sorry, just one other thing, as a kind of security guy, I just like everybody to think about posting on like Facebook or various things that you're not gonna be home, that you're staying with your relatives. Cause, for somebody with a bad mindset, they can say, aha, this house is empty right now. That's all.
okay, good. I would like to move forward then to item number 1, which is the resolution. And I will read the resolution. There are just a few wording changes if you want to note those, and I'll mention that when I get there. Resolution number 2024-01 in the matter of declaring a local emergency for the city of Creswell, Oregon, as a result of the ice storm of January 12 through 17, 2024. Whereas Creswell has experienced a severe ice storm that has caused outage in the entire city, and whereas there is a health and safety risk to our residents who have been without electricity for several days, and whereas the citywide outages have required staff to operate basic services such as water and sewer facilities manually, and whereas local utility and city services have been fully deployed to provide essential services to our residents, the mayor concludes that the resulting hazardous conditions are of sufficient severity and magnitude to warrant a local emergency declaration. Contracting services for hazard tree removal, debris processing, basic services such as showers and laundry for residents, and cleanup, and here is inserted the words, will be required when the initial emergency work is completed. And whereas, as a result of the storm damage, the city manager is authorized for emergency procurement spending to provide critical services to Creswell residents and to suspend ORS 279B.060. And whereas the Lane County Board of Commissioners has declared a local emergency throughout Lane County, and whereas Creswell Municipal Code Chapter 23080 gives the mayor the power to declare a local emergency. Now therefore, as mayor of the city of Creswell, I do hereby declare that, number 1, a local emergency exists in the city of Creswell. Number 2, the emergency is a result of a severe ice storm beginning January 13 to 12, 2024, which has left the city and its residents without electricity or internet services, and with widespread damage due to downed trees. Number 3, this declaration of local emergency shall remain in effect for 21 days. Number 4, the city manager is hereby granted authority to take such actions as are necessary for the prompt and efficient expenditure of up to $150,000 for purposes relating to this emergency in compliance with the Oregon Public Contracting Code, suspending contracting regulations or procedures that may limit execution of such contracts or spending. Adopted this 18th day of January 2024. So council, I want to open the floor for questions. Thanks for coming, guys. For questions, and then we will move forward with a vote. We need to vote to adopt it as a council. So the floor is open for questions. Councilor Castillo?
Just as Manager Amber's already stated, these will be for expenses that have already incurred.
Some may, and some may still be to come.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, we have not expended $150,000 yet, but when we start, taking out trees and
Sure.
rebuilding fences and doing repair work, because we did have a tree come down on the water tank, we may run up to $150,000.
Any idea where we're already at?
No.
Any clue?
Jim?
Is this gonna be enough?
Well, if it's not enough, we'll come back. to
Okay,
it.
all right. Answer my question.
Councilor Clark?
Just to make sure that we have clarity with everyone, so in the fifth whereas statement, it talks about suspending ORS 2790.060, and so I'm wondering, what is ORS 2790.060, to make sure that we know what we're suspending.
Those are the procurement laws. They require us to get 3 bids. They require us to use certain things and certain parameters. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through when you're doing a public purchase, and it says, for this purpose, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go straight to a contractor and get the work done.
Thank you. That was my question.
So just clarification, such as paying all the overtime, that's not gonna happen tomorrow.
No.
There's gonna come a time when all these bills are gonna come due. If at that time we're short of the $150,000, we then can come back with a new resolution, or would it be better just to up the number at this point? What would you recommend?
I think let's hold it at 150. I think that's a reasonable amount.
Okay,
I would be, I'm skeptical that we would go over that.
okay. Any other questions, councilors? Councilor Smith?
Actually, Councilor Castillo was, kinda asked my question. My concern was the amount or at all, or if this is gonna be a sufficient amount, so I think that question has been answered. Thank you.
All right. If there's no further questions, then I am entertaining a motion to adopt resolution number 2024-01 as read. We have a motion on the floor from Councilor Clark.
I move to adopt resolution number 2024-01 as read.
Do we have a second on the floor? Second from Councilor Holt. Any further discussion? Council will proceed to vote. We'll do a voice vote. Councilor Smith?
I'm for the resolution. So yay.
Councilor Clark?
Yes.
Councilor Kent?
Yes.
Councilor Holt?
Yes.
Councilor Castillo?
Yes.
Councilor Osborne?
Yes.
Mayor Stram? Yes, motion passes unanimously. Do we have any further business for today? If not, then the meeting is adjourned.